Speaking of Jared, this is my second Letterkenny junket. I've never met the guy. What's he like? What's it like working with him?
He told us to tell you that it's personal, and he just doesn't want to talk to you.
You know, two things for damn sure, and that's life is a highway and Twitter is a cult.
So he's literally talking to everybody else. I don't know how.
He won't return my text.
I don't know what you did to him. I don't know why you're talking about his sister like that. That's just what I heard. But
we're not at liberty to speak on this.
Yeah, sorry, we can't talk about this. Only because it's you, Cody.
I know.
Sorry, I'm just gonna take this. It's Jared. Just give me 1 second. Hey, no, I'm talking to him right now. No, I told him we think he's a dick. Okay,
Disney has canceled me. Oh man.
He's got a lot of similarities to his character, actually. He's incredibly polite. He's very kind. He's really like a true team leader to all of us. And he loves to giggle. That's something that I will say, because Wayne doesn't really giggle that much, but Jared is like a big giggler. He's like always laughing, and it's kind of fun. Anytime, like if I post an Instagram or something and he's in there smiling, people are always like shocked. They're like, I've never seen this face before. So yeah, but he's great.
Why don't you guys go play some buck hunting?
I'll race you over to the buck hunter machine over there.
Jared's great. He's he's a hardworking SOB, man. He kills it. He's just he works his ass off, and is great fun to fucking have a joke with and stuff like that. It's amazing. Yeah, so it's a great working environment with him. And he would be, I think, the guy that you think that he is. I think he probably is that guy. He's fun. He is polite. He's good with everybody, and he loves a good joke. And I think that's kind of apparent from the show that he wrote, and also from the new one and stuff like that. So yeah, he loves a joke. Good man to have around for sure.
Also loves a dog. Loves a dog.
Hey, why are crabs always so tired? It's because they only sleep in snatches.
He's a ghost. Yeah.
He's a tyrant.
He's a Wizard of Oz, actually. We've never met him either. So
no, he's exactly who you think he is, which is why you'll never see him on a junket, because he's so humble and so low key that you like can't really track him down, because he's like, oh, I don't really want to do that. Like, I don't think I should do it. Like, you guys should do it. Like,
what do I have to talk about?
What am I gonna say? Who wants to hear me talk?
It's his baby, and he works hard for it. But Jared Keeso, I always considered myself a nice guy, and Keeso makes me feel like an awful pig monster. So he's a gem of a human being. He's private and he's quiet, but he's also one of the sweetest guys you'll ever have the joy of meeting. He's a good dude.
Were there any scenes in particular, whether it was throughout the show or this latest season, that you remember being difficult to get through without laughing? I think about, the scene where you're on the front porch talking about the astronaut, stuff like that. I've seen all the bloopers and outtakes. Was there anything recently that sticks to mind that was really, really hard to get through without breaking character?
For me, I think the Mother Hutchins skit.
Okay.
You know Mother Hutchins?
Of course. Mother 17. Great gal.
I seen Mother Hutchins today, and she was whistling when there's no way that she could have been whistling.
That was like very, very much difficult. I couldn't look at Nate at all. For me, that was a tough one to get through.
Why couldn't she have been whistling?
On account of she was eating an ice cream cone?
There's no possible way you can whistle when you're eating an ice cream cone.
Yeah, big time. So from this season specifically, the prostate episode, so I think it's episode 4 if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So Jared and I have a good conversation. Wayne and Daryl have a conversation in front of the produce stand about all things prostate.
Well, have you ever had another man spread your butt cheeks for you?
Well, no.
It's hard anytime I just have a scene with Jared, which is very rare because, it's an ensemble, everything, right? And so whenever I have a scene with Jared, it's very difficult to look at him whenever, and especially talking about prostate and this and that. And, why did you leave the doctor's office, and how did all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that one was difficult, and it was one of the last days of shooting as well, so we're all kind of tired, and so we're giggly anyways. But that one was super fun, and so yeah, the prostate episode was not easy, and specifically in front of the produce stand, just Jared and I yakking back and forth was super fun, and fucking blew a lot of takes on that one for sure.
I said I had never had to ooh so bad in my entire life. Right then and there.
I would say the people that are the hardest, it's, Jonathan Torrance, the dicks are very hard to work with. Lisa doesn't break, which can make her very hard to work with. And the whole cast is very hard to work with. I don't particularly like any of them, but I would say that, yeah, Jonathan's really hard. John and Sarah are tough. And Tyler and Evan are tough as well. The skids are particularly particular. They'll just start dancing at you, and it can be very distracting.
This title.
Is it Die Hard?
Tis.
For me, it's Lisa. It's Gaylor. She goes from the nicest, most reserved individual to being a hip thrusting. You can fill in the rest, but I'd say Lisa for me. She a villain. She's something else when she gets to say. Yeah.
I work
Melanie,
with Lisa.
what do you think?
Second that. I think Lisa. She's just so different in real life to what she's so just grounded and like she's just so intelligent and yeah, you have these just really interesting conversations, and then she goes on set and you're like, what just who
she gets possessed. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
On the house.
Well, all right.
I'm curious, with all the hockey that you guys play on the show and then all the fights and brawls and everything, have you guys ever had any like accidental injuries, close calls, broken set pieces, any fun stories like that?
Broken set. I know Hersey smashed a prop coffee mug on a wonderful stuntman's head. That
was probably the most fun I've ever had. No, this year, sorry to cut you off, Dylan. No. I think I was saying this recently. Surprisingly, our show has had almost no injuries during the filming of any fight scenes or anything like that. We have a great stunt coordinator, Dan Skeen, who is a professional and makes things fun. And Dylan and I had a few scrapes from fighting a wall this season, but yeah, but I think other than that, no, we've been pretty fortunate that nothing serious has happened.
Yeah.
Did you guys get to smash that wall? Was that just a one and done kind of thing, or did you get to do it multiple times? Or either of those walls?
No, we had a few.
There was multiples actually. I'll pump Hersey's tire for him here. We were doing a practice run through, and Jacob, our director, goes, "Yeah, so the wall's scored. Like you have to hit it pretty hard, but like, it will give." And Hersey goes, "Well, like how hard should I hit it?" He's like, "Hit it as hard as you can." And I swear to God, this kid's got a bomb on him because he cocked back, and the noise that it made when he put his hand. Not just his hand, up to his shoulder through the drywall. Whap! Everyone in the set was like, what exploded? He's like, okay, so like half as hard as that? Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to fight Hersey when he played junior, that's for sure.
Have you ever seen such primitive emotion? Primal. I think it's called toxic masculinity.
I'm curious, how much of the show is fully scripted versus how much do you let the actors, improv and riff off something happens? How does that work on set?
There's so much dialogue in this show. There's nowhere near as much improv as people think it is. It's largely scripted dialogue, and it's also the scripts are so rhythmic and the pace is so specific that improv will happen. Of course, it's a comedy; it happens, but it's doesn't happen very often.
It's all there. It's all there on the page, and we're given the freedom to make it our own. Whether that's like, hey, I think my character would say it more like this, or every once in a while you just come up with a cheeky line and you throw it in there. And but the nice thing is we have the freedom to collaborate. It's all there on the page, but if we come up with an idea, Jared and Jacob are always open to listen, and sometimes the scenes organically change through that collaboration, but it's all there on the page to begin with.
Yeah, and sometimes, Jared and Jacob will throw something out, like, oh,
why don't you say this? Or, you know what I mean? There'll be like an addition, a last minute addition. But yeah, it's pretty much all there.
I mean, it's heavily scripted. The fact that we, like Tyler and I, get together the night before and run it 400 times, I think can tell you how tight it is. But then the improv comes at either the beginning or the end of a scene for a bit. Like Jacob won't cut a scene until he's seen you suffer enough. So he'll just let it run, and then you'll be forced to improvise at the end. That's generally what happens.
Also, if Evan and I, like when we rehearse the 400 times, if we think of an idea or something that we want to bring to the day, oftentimes we'll chuck that in on our first take, not during the rehearsal, just in case Jacob yells at us to change it.
And he will.
Take on camera. So
he will yell at us.
It's very scripted, but we try to bring some things to the scene as well. Like Evan mentioned, Jacob likes to leave us hanging at the end. So
and none of the physicality is scripted. So if I come in on his back, that's not in the script.
That's the thing I would have said, is that it's like, the script is the Bible to me, but then I get very awkward and uncomfortable. And so my improv comes physically. Like I'll force feed a banana to someone.
Those gin shots this season were very physical. That was very exciting for me.
Yes.
Yeah, Melanie, do you practice your lines, like pronouncing everything fully and then go into drunk mode, or how does that work?
Yeah, I say them normally, which sounds ridiculous, but I just try to get every word exactly the way it is, because for this show, I think is just so well written. Like the comedy is just there if you just can get the words out properly, or in my case, not properly.
Yeah.
The older cock is there for the old cock.
Last question before they kick me out of here. Shoresy, getting a spinoff. What can you tell me about it? What are you hoping to learn about that crazy guy?
I think it's going to be a lot more heart than you expect. That's what I'll say. I think there's going to be a really hometown vibe, and it's going to specifically focus on Sudbury, from what I understand. And we've been shooting the show in Sudbury for the last 7 years, and I think it's Keeso's opportunity to showcase that city and how great it is.
I mean, hey, Shoresy wants to win, right? He goes north to win. It's actually, it's kind of neat. So in that series, they use Sudbury. He actually goes to the town of Sudbury, and they use the real city as the backdrop, which is where we actually filmed Letterkenny. So there's a little bit of life imitating art, or art imitating life, I guess would be the more accurate representation. Yeah, he goes off and leaves Riley and Jonesy behind to battle it out in the beer leagues. And I believe he's going out to win a ship, if I'm not mistaken, Shoresy.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to find out a lot of different things about a guy that you don't really know too much about up until this point. He's sort of a one-dimensional character up until this point. And I think the show is probably going to show a great many sides to him, for sure.
I'm not sure what I'm allowed to tell you about it. He's getting a spinoff. It exists. We have filmed it. He will play hockey. I hope that everyone likes it.
Oh, man,
It's
Jacob,
something I'm really proud of it. We're still in post-production on it. We just finished filming it, but I don't want to give too many spoilers away. But it's very exciting, and yeah, it's a fun new kind of expansion of the Letterkenny TV universe, the LKTVU.
Yeah.
Rolls right off the tongue. Yep, exactly. Just everyone will want to say it.
All right, I think they're about to kick me out of here. Okay, Trevor, just wanted to let you know, after we spoke last, I wrote an article saying that you'd had enough of the butt stuff. I told people, just leave the man alone. Just leave him alone. And I hope it helped. It didn't make things worse. And
Thank you,
congrats.
And I just would like to post a picture of my wife without someone being gross.
It's not too much to ask at all. Well, thank you all so much for your time. Thank you for everything you do. I love the show so much.
Thanks, Cody.
Thanks so much.
Have a good weekend, man.